this business. If we look at the volumes across the different sectors, West, now Canada was down a little bit for an unusual reason. We withdrew a product we were offering there last year, but West, Central, and East all up strongly. And just to kind of keep in perspective, California in particular, our western natural gas volumes, all of the western states represent 15% of the natural gas volumes. And probably not more than half of that into California. So despite what the people in California think, Enron's making money despite California, not because of California. And that is absolutely true. We've had a lot of headache from California, but we've not made much money out of it. North American power volumes, again, strong growth. Again, the Western power volumes even are about 25% of our total. Our biggest power volumes are in the East. That's where our biggest growth was. I would say also we had stronger growth in Europe than North America. If you look at total volumes now, about 25% of our total volumes, and they are enormous, as I just showed you, come out of Europe, which in fact is growing at a very rapid rate. And of course in Europe we're developing the same type of strategy, the same type of infrastructure that we developed in this country. We are still the only major Pan-American player, and then we're way ahead of whoever decides they want to be the second major Pan-American, Pan-European player. But indeed, you can see what happened to the volumes in Europe, more than doubled year on year. Power volumes on the continent went up over fourfold this latest quarter, but probably most importantly, our most mature and biggest gas market on the continent, which is in the UK, went up about 75%. So we're hitting on all cylinders in the wholesale business and growing in all the regions, all the markets, and expanding the strength of our franchise. Enron Online, a fabulous, fabulous story. And of course, one of the reasons that our volumes are accelerating throughout the world. As you all know, we launched Enron Online in November '99, a little less than 2 years ago. We started off with about 65 customers logging on. Now we have over 335 products. We went from 60 to over 1,800. And of course, I guess we've added another 200 or so this year, as I recall, or 200 or 300. I think it was about not more than about 1,600 just a few months ago. So it keeps growing. We just keep testing new products, offering our customers new products. Delivery locations, of course, up significantly. This kind of shows graphically what's happened to Enron Online. It's continuing to grow, 5,000 to 6,000 transactions a day, $2.5 to $3 billion of notional value a day. By far the largest e-commerce website in the world. And it is, like I say, just further strengthening our competitive advantage in all these markets. Enron Global Markets, a new growth area for us. This is where we're taking the same business model that we developed in the natural gas markets and then extended it to the power markets, and now we're extending it to a lot of other markets. And again, it's very much of a logistics model. It's not a trading model, it's a logistics model. It's a matter, again, scale, scope, but being able to always buy the product at the cheapest price and most reliable delivery location, and then delivering it to our customers. But you can see again in the Global Markets Group, strong growth in liquid, strong growth in coal. We're now the largest buyer and seller of coal in North America. We're the largest importer of coal in the world, the largest player in the import market in the world. We're now also arranging the freight of that through tankers, ships. I think currently we're managing 35 to 40 different ships around the world, and that's growing fairly significantly. Weather derivatives or weather insurance, again, a market that we pretty much invented, and we're by far the largest. And there again, you can see an 8-fold increase in the second quarter from the first quarter. LNG, a new market we're going into. Again, a market that historically has been very much of a linear, vertically integrated, very rigid delivery system with one source of supply, serving one customer, usually with 1 or 2 or 3 tankers. We're starting to try to rationalize that and make it a much more competitive market, and thus drive down the cost substantially. If you look at Enron Industrial Markets, again, another new area that we're developing. Our metals business, of course, we moved into that last year. Rapid growth, again, quarter on quarter. Now, quarter on quarter here is the first quarter of this year to the second quarter. It's not the second quarter last year, the second quarter, and that was true of those other slides too. But you can see 85% growth from the first quarter to the second quarter. Forest products, I think we've reached a real inflection point there, and a lot of activity going on there. But a very exciting breakthrough in that market. And all of these markets are profitable. Already, all of these markets are profitable and growing at this rate. Steel, a brand new market we just moved into earlier this year. And again, an enormous market. But you add all these markets together, they're well over $1 trillion of new markets we're moving into. Same successful business model, same people, same controls, same process we use in the other markets we've been so successful in. And we're creating whole new businesses that can, over time, become very, very substantial. So very exciting for the company's future. Enron Energy Services just keeps banging away and just keeps growing at a tremendous rate. On the left there, you've got the, I didn't go, did I? How many did I miss? There it is. But there you've got the growth in the quarterly, in the contracts, long-term contracts signed in that quarter. And again, almost a doubling from second quarter last year to this year. And we've been kind of doing that systematically over the last 3 years. Of course, if you look at on an annual basis, we expect to sign about $30 billion of contracts this year. We currently have only about $40 billion under contract. So tremendous growth. Of course, revenue is growing. Most importantly, net profits are growing. But a very, very solid business. Signing, if you look at the first half of this year, the major contracts we signed: Owen, Illinois, Eli Lilly, J.C. Penney, Quaker Oats, Saks, Park Place, Equity Office Property, Home Depot, Harris. We're now moving into casinos. I'm not sure what that means, but we're moving into casinos. So when you go out and lose your money, well, we're getting some of it. Broadband, as I said, I gave you some of the bad news. Here's the good news. As you can see, year on year, what tremendous growth in the intermediation market. We keep expanding the number of counterparties, different kinds of transactions, circuits and storage, but tremendous growth. And again, quite convinced that this is going to become a major market. And let me say, this market's still growing at a very rapid rate. Maybe where people thought a year ago it was going to maybe double or go up 3 or 4 times each year. Now it's closer to doubling each year, but that still gets you to a pretty big market pretty quickly. And so this is a great market to be in. If you look at our profits, particularly in wholesale, and that is the major profit center in the company, you see that we are physical volume delivery driven. We are not a trading company. We are a logistics and service company. And in fact, the way we make profit is packaging up energy products, energy services primarily, and of course increasingly a lot of other products and services, and deliver it to the customer. But there's been a direct correlation over the last 10 years between our volume deliveries, physical volume deliveries, and the amount of income before interest and taxes that we've made in the wholesale business. And that's the reason that explosion, that acceleration in volumes is so important to the company's future. All right, every presentation has to come to a conclusion.